First, I'm going to show you the two body styles available. There's uncovered and covered. Technically, the covered is called an MR7. The way Fabio Leonardi markets these is the covered is typically paired with a meat grinder attachment and the uncovered is paired with a tomato milling machine attachment. However, the attachments, as I'll show you later, can work with either machine. So really either machine could be a tomato milling machine. You just have to decide whether you want the covered for easy cleaning or the uncovered for cost effectiveness. The covered tomato milling machine, the MR7, comes with feet on the bottom. It's a rather heavy machine, but it still is mobile. You set it on a countertop and it runs. The uncovered unit is also mobile. Normally it comes mounted to this steel base, which has rubber feet on the bottom for countertop usage. However, if you are going to be doing large production, always in the same area, you can remove it from the base like we have done here and bolt it to a tabletop. In this scenario, you would always have a bucket on the ground that it would then produce the tomato puree into and another bucket to catch the refuse. This is a fast way to operate. It's a way that's very popular with people with large scale operations and large gardens that they process year round. The 1 horsepower tomato milling machine could be paired with two different tomato attachments, the SP3 or the SP5. The difference between these two tomato attachments is the production capabilities. I'm going to talk about the SP3 first. The SP3 has a neck size that is 2¼ inches. The screen length is 5½ inches, and the screen diameter at the base is 2½ inches. What this means is you'd pretty much have to quarter any tomato to fit it down the neck. So there's some prep work that is needed that you won't need on the SP5. The diameter and the length of the screen is how many tomatoes can fit in this spiral at one time. So this will process them slightly slower than the SP5 because not as many tomatoes can be carried down the spiral and through the production area as the SP5. The SP5 is the largest one we have. This has a 2¾ inch neck. This has a 6¾ inch spiral. This has a 3-inch diameter on the base of the spiral. This can produce a lot of tomatoes. With having a 2¾ inch neck, half the tomatoes, some tomatoes like Roma tomatoes, you won't have to cut up at all. You just throw them down the chute and process them. It can fit a lot of tomatoes in the spiral at one time, so production can be pretty rapid. The SP5 comes with a splash guard. Because there's so many tomatoes that are being squeezed at one time with so much pressure, you could have some splashing, and the splash guard will help to prevent that from getting onto you or onto your work surface. Both these machines come with a bowl. The bowl is actually the same size bowl on both machines. It is 10¼ inches in diameter and it is 4 inches in depth. They both come with a plastic pusher. This is to help you push the tomatoes down into the spiral. And they both come with stainless steel chutes. Something else that is similar about both of these is they are both made of cast iron, both the spiral and the body, and the screen is stainless steel. This is a very heavy duty unit. There's no destroying this thing. You could drop this from your table. You could do whatever you want to it. It's not going to dent. It's going to last for years. An accessory that is extremely popular with our customers is a meat grinder attachment. As I said earlier, both these motors can have a tomato milling attachment or a meat grinder attachment. On our website, we like to pair up the TC22 with the MR9 1 horsepower tomato milling machine. The TC22 comes with one plate. There's multiple plates available to do different cuts of meat. Comes with a blade to cut the meat, and it comes with a spiral, the cast iron body, and a hopper to feed the meat into the unit. Another thing I wanted to demonstrate to you was the lack of a gasket here. What gaskets are used for is as the screw threads tighten down, it presses the gasket against the body and prevents liquids from flowing through. However, what Fabio Leonardi realized was gaskets have to be made of a substance like rubber. Rubber over time can become dry, brittle, it could break, it can gather smells, bacteria, it could become unsanitary. This is a food grade product, you don't want anything like that. So instead of stopping liquid from flowing through here, which is what you want to collect anyway when producing tomatoes, is they position a tray underneath where the screw threading goes. So if liquids run through the screw threading, it is captured and added to the liquids you're catching through the screen anyway. On the MR9/MR7 1 horsepower tomato milling machine, this is what the attachment point looks like on the motor. You'll notice there's a bar on the top and a flat side on here. The flat side goes underneath the bar, and as this is turned, it locks it into place. On the larger tomato milling machines, there's a set screw to help hold it into place. Inside of this, you'll notice on the drive shaft of the motor, there is a flat head bolt. On the drive shaft of the tomato milling machine, there's the female side for fitting in that flat head bolt. Common question we get is, what is the easiest way to get this female side lined up with the male side while inserting it? The answer to this is put the screen on the threading, but do it loosely so you can still turn the screen. As you'll see here, as I turn the screen, the bolt head turns as well. You can line it up, turn this to the necessary point, slide it on, and turn it. Now you can tighten down your screen and begin your tomato milling machine. Here's how this tomato milling machine works. You fill your hopper with tomatoes, you press them down with your pusher. Be sure not to push the pusher all the way against the spiral. It is made of plastic, so you don't want it to get stuck in the spiral. As the tomatoes are fed down the neck, they interact with the spiral. The spiral is largest in the base and becomes tighter as it feeds through the screen. The reason for the gradual tightening of the spiral is to push the tomatoes gradually harder against the screen. This prevents them from jamming and will thoroughly wring out your tomatoes. You'll notice there is also a spring. The spring pushes the spiral against the screen to keep that pressure so it can wring out your tomatoes. The holes in the screen are only large enough to fit the juice and the pulp of the tomato through. The seeds and the skin cannot, and they come out the end. The chute catches the tomato juice and the tomato pulp, and you can funnel that into a container. One key note with tomato milling machines is the first run. When you first assemble this machine, you have a cast iron spiral pushing against a stainless steel screen. The stainless steel is harder than the cast iron. The cast iron is not perfectly smooth against the screen, and this is on purpose. You want the spiral to fit on your specific screen with how much pressure you have. So they design it so you run it, the spiral conforms to the shape of your specific screen and forms a perfectly tight fit. However, what this means, on the first run, you may see some metal shavings coming out into your product. Use a product that you don't care about. It could be rotten tomatoes, it could be wet bread, it could be just about anything, but you are going to dispose of the first run, so keep that in mind. Another thing, every subsequent use, you want to put olive oil on the screen before using. Before you get the tomatoes down into here, there is no lubrication and it is metal on metal contact. Once the tomatoes are flowing through, the tomatoes act as its own lubrication, but prior to the tomatoes working their way down through here, you need some type of lubrication. Olive oil works best. Just a very low coating on the screen will keep that spinning freely. With the MR9, it also has a unique feature that's found on larger tomato milling machines. Because the quantity of tomatoes that are being forced through, there can be circumstances where you need to back the tomatoes up because they're jamming. With smaller machines, if this happens, you have to take the machine apart. This can be a time-consuming thing, and if you're in a production schedule, you don't want to take the time out to unjam your machine. So the larger machines come with a reverse. One makes it go forward. It is a toggle switch. You flip it on, it stays on. 0 is off. 2, you notice, is a momentary. This way you can pulse the motor in a backwards direction, unjam the clog, and then continue forward with your tomato production. Thank you for watching our video. At TomatoMilling.com, we are dedicated to tomato milling machines. We have parts available for all the machines we carry. We have instructional videos, informational videos, instruction manuals, and a well-educated staff to help you make the right choice for your situation. We have staff that is available 7 days a week. We have phone support. We have live chat. We have email support. However you want to reach us, we're available and we have your answers that you need. Thank you and have a wonderful day.